preseason press conference, Sam mentioned that he's interested in raising the shooting percentages. Obviously, everybody would be, but he said two of the ways would be generating higher percentage shots, and then guys that you have in place that you know are good shooters, just making more of them. Do you feel like there's some guys on the team who have an opportunity to knock down more shots this year than they did maybe last season?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff as it relates to expected field goal percentage based on a player, who it is, where he's shooting from, what's the distance of the defender, what the expected field goal percentage would be. So, I think you try to get good quality shots. I think every team wants that. We didn't shoot the ball great last year. I mean, it's just it. I think if you look at where we ranked, we got to do a better job from the free throw line, and the 3-point line weren't great. So, again, I think you want to try to generate good shots, but even when you generate good shots, you want to be able to have guys shoot the ball with confidence and feel good about the shots that they are getting.
In these types of practice, as a coach, how do you attack those kind of dual problems of getting better shots and then having guys actually knock them down?
Well, I mean, you're scripting. You're going through your offense. You try to put guys in situations where they're taking the shots that they're going to have to take during the game, and that's it's something these guys work really hard on their shooting. They're in before practice, day after practice, so it's a daily thing for them. But you try to put them in situations, but it's different. Even when you're scripting 5-on-0, like a lot of times, guys get the shot, but it's in a lot of ways it's not as realistic as the game, just because guys wide open. So you try to do the best job you can, creating those situations where they've got to make some shots, and certainly ball movement, generating good shots to help them.
Is that why getting 5-on-5 so early in camp has been important to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that's happened, and we've had enough players, but I mean, obviously, I've said disappointed Russell and Andre haven't been able to participate, but I think sometimes you get into the preseason and it's almost like your games are always the teaching and the learning. And I think we've got an opportunity to try to utilize this time. And last year's training camp was a little bit different, just with the number of injuries, Carmelo coming in. Like, there was just your older team. There was a lot that we were dealing with the first 10 days, 2 weeks. I think you try to get these guys playing as quickly as possible, so they've got things on film that they can look at and see themselves doing the things that we're talking about doing in live situations.
Well, in terms of Hamidou Diallo, it's the stereotype with athletes that get into the league and they're just kind of based off of raw athleticism. They can't really do the fundamental things like dribble, ball handling, or defense. What have you noticed about his progression just in the few short days that you've been able to practice with him?
That part, I mean, I understand that you're saying, but he's an outlier in my opinion, from what you're saying. And I never like really getting into like stereotyping a player, because I think every player's got he's just his own individual player. That's kind of what he is. And I know sometimes people want to make comparisons or say this is the kind of player he is, but I think every player to their own right is their own individual person, individual player. Now him, he's an explosive athlete. He's got great speed, got great quickness. Okay. The thing that I really like about him is he's got great toughness. He's physically tough. He's bright, okay? And I think the other part of him is he knows how to play. Now, the biggest part for him, experience-wise, is just, okay, when do I shoot, when do I drive, when do I pass? Like, those things are going to be the challenges for him. But he's a bright enough, smart enough guy that through experience and repetition and what we just talked about, playing 5-on-5, like those things will help him. So I don't, I've been really, really impressed just with that. Now, does he have a long way to go? Absolutely. And he's very, very, raw, not in terms of his ability, but he's raw in terms of just, he's learning the NBA game, he's learning the league. All those things are going to take some time, but he does things that I really respect. He really competes. He's got a really good motor. He's extremely coachable, and I think he has a really good feel and understanding for the game.
Billy, what's been your early impression of him as a shooter?
He's going to get better. It's not his strength right now, but he's going to get better, and that's going to be his number one thing, in my opinion, is When does he shoot it? When does he drive it? When does he pass it? And I think he's got good form. I think for any college player, in my opinion, that come from college and come to the NBA, the distance of the three-point line is so different. And then I think the other thing too is if you look at all that, analytical research and data, a lot of those pull-up mid-range jump shots are no longer great shots. So that's my point. Those are the things he's going to have to figure out. When do I take threes? When do I drive it? When do I try to get all the way to the rim? When do I need to make the extra pass? Now, he's smart. He just doesn't have the experience to have all those answers right now, but he can get those things. But those are the things that he's going to have to work on. I think he will be a good shooter in time. He's got to work at it. He's got to get better at it. But I would say that right now, that's not the strength of his game.
The other day, y'all obviously aren't going to rush Andre back.
Right.
But we don't get to see some of the other work that he does in practice or before or after. Where would you say he is in terms of lateral movement? Because we haven't really seen anything from him in terms of his lateral movement.
Yeah, I mean, I see him out here. He's doing stuff all the time. To be honest with you, I really spend more time just talking to him about how he's going. How does he think the process for him rehabilitating is going? How does it feel? Any issues, soreness, those kind of things. I really don't get too much into the medical piece. I'll talk to those guys all the time about where he's at, currently. But he looks good running. He looks good moving. But I think it's totally different when you're trying to regain timing and all those things. And sure, like anything else, you want to be able to develop confidence. When you have the kind of injury he had, I'm sure starting, stopping, cutting, moving, there's a confidence that he's got to build up that, hey, like my foot, my knee, everything's okay here. And I think that takes a little bit of time, but he's worked really, really hard to get to where he's at right now. And I think he's done a great job of staying engaged with the team, staying motivated to get back, being involved in practice, and all those things have been really positive. It's hard for me to sit there and say, okay, this is where he's at. He's done nothing with us on the court to this point in time, more because of the physical contact that we've done in drills. I mean, the practices we've had have been, up and down, and in half court it's been contact. You just can't do those things. So, someone asked me, is he jumping in there? It's been hard for him to jump into anything, just with the way practice has been. And I understand that, but there'll be a time that, as we start to go forward, we'll be able to do that.
Your experience with guys who are guys who shoot really well in practice, they don't have a hand in their face and they'll shoot really well. I just watched Andre go around the world with Alex, and he was making a good amount of shots, and his free throws look pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get that, or can you get that to translate from that setting to a game setting, or is that even possible?
No, I mean, you try to create, that's what you're trying to do in practice, and I was talking about playing 5-on-5, you try to create as close to of game situations as you can. We may play a game in the first team to get to 5. Okay, the team gets 5. All right, someone's got to make a free throw to solidify the game. You try to put a situation that puts someone to the free throw line. You try to create special situations. Hey, 5 seconds to go on the clock, high score, you're shooting them. And then you're working on, okay, timeout, advance the ball, side of the bounds, defense, or what's the score. So you try to create those situations, but are you creating them at the level of a game? Probably not. But I think everybody probably tries to do the best job they can within that. And then I think that, the making shots part of it is, I think as much as it is physical and repetition, it's just as much mental too, and building that confidence and belief, through working out and putting the time in.
Though nobody's probably as fast with the ball in the league as Russell is, as you're trying to play faster, can the ball be in his hands so often, or in his absence, in any other person's hands so often?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, I'm thinking about his usage. The ball's in his hands so often in your offense. You're trying to play faster. Does the ball come out of his hands more often to facilitate whatever playing faster looks like?
Yeah, I think he's going to have to do some of that stuff. But I also think that playing faster when the ball is in his hands gives him opportunities with people up in front of him to give him options to pass it, to move it, to do some of those things. But, he's obviously starts first. We've always been really fast on missed shots. We've been a good fast break. We get out fast on missed shots. But at times, I think on made baskets, we've been a more slower on team, and we've got to play with more tempo. So that first starts with how quickly the ball gets inbounded. Then it starts with how quickly a guy like Russell gets it across that board, and then how quickly we can get into actions and movements. So, yeah, the ball's in his hands, and it should be in his hands because of the player he is and the ability that he can generate shots and get to the rim and get to the free throw line. But I think in order to play faster, it's just not going to be on him. I think people look at him and say, okay, wow, but it's the other guys running. So
they got to keep up.
Everybody's got to roll in it, I guess is what I'm saying. Every person that inbounds the ball, to the people that are running the lanes, to him getting the ball across that court, to everything that we have to do, you know, the 5 guys that are out there. I mean, everybody's kind of involved in that part of it.
Overall, do you like where you are now after 6 practices?
I really like the way these guys have really come in and worked, and I think it was a lot different than last year. Not to compare, because I think every year is different. I just think with Russell being out, you know, last year, and even now being out again this year, and then, you know, Patrick Patterson missing only a training camp, Alex Abrinas being out, you know, we were an older group. You know, I think the understanding of coming back this year and having to put in the work, starting right away in training camp has been good. So I've been really, really pleased with the way they've worked. I've been really, really pleased with how they're trying to do the things that we're talking about. Like, are we even close to where we need to be, execution-wise, offensively, defensively? No, not at all. But they're really, really working hard. They're really working hard, and you know, I really appreciate that. And even with the new guys, and that was part of the challenge too. With so many new guys last year, so there's so much to teach. But there's been enough where we got a lot of guys that have been here that can lead and help the guys that are new. And the guys that are new have done a really good job of paying attention and trying to listen and learn and get better. So, I mean, I think practice, from my perspective, with the amount of contact that we've had and the way we've gone up and down, I've been really pleased with what these guys have done. But it's by no means, you know, what would be like a polished, you know, we got a long way to go in terms of where we need to get to. But they're certainly putting the right foot forward to get better.